A very, very good morning to you from this most attractive Queen's Club here in Bulawayo, where we are for the first ever Test match between Zimbabwe and England, and of course we're bringing it to you live.
Thanks, Mark. Now, after the low-scoring one-day affair on Sunday, all the batsmen in both teams and the captains are regarding this pitch with a little bit of suspicion. And, well, they might, because it looks beautifully flat and it looks a hard surface, but so did Sunday's pitch. Let's just have a look at the surface of this. There is a degree of grass on this, but it is all fairly dead grass and rolled into the surface, and not as much of that dead grass on this as there was on Sunday, and that caused a sort of tennis ball slowy loopy bounce in the one-day international. I think, though, for the first couple of days at least, this pitch is going to play pretty well. There were signs on Sunday that the ball was going to turn later on. I'm sure this pitch will turn later on, but initially it's going to be a really good Test match pitch.
Very much indeed, Mark. Yes, we're all set out here in the middle for the first ever toss in a Test match between England and Zimbabwe. Alistair Campbell has got the coin, and Michael Atherton is going to call, so off we go, gentlemen. And it has come down a tails. So, Alistair, you have won the toss. What are you going to do?
We are going to bet.
And what's your team news?
Well, Ed Branders ran over an advertising board yesterday, sprained his ankle, so he's out, and we bought in Brian Strang.
Okay, and obviously this is a huge day for Zimbabwean cricket.
It is indeed, yeah, and we're looking to go out there and be positive and get some runs on the board.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Alistair.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Michael, the run of poor form with the toss continues, certainly. You're going to have to bowl on a very hot day.
Yeah, it's a hot day. The wicket's been watered. We think there might be a little bit there in the morning, although obviously I think I'd have batted. But if we bowl well, we can make inroads early on.
And what's your team news?
We've left out Caddick, Irani and Russell.
So that means Chris Silverwood gets a debut?
Yeah, he bowled very well in the one-day international, and I think he deserves his debut, yeah.
And obviously a big day for you, this one as well, trying to put the horrors of the one-day out of your mind?
Well, I wouldn't call it horrors. I mean, we lost the game, quite a close game in the end, but the Test match is a very different type of match. We'll be looking to get off to a good start on day one and carry it through from there.
Michael, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
So that's the story here in the middle. England are going to bowl.
There are the sides. Confirmation that Chris Silverwood wins his first Test match cap for England, and otherwise very much, I think, expected. The top of the order looks interesting, Ian, with Nick Knight down there to open and Alex Stewart at 3. Is that likely to go ahead, or if England bowl them out quickly and Stewart isn't too tired, may he open?
I honestly don't know, to be quite frank. I would think they'll stick with that order, personally. I think they like the right and left-hand combination at the start. I think they feel it messes the Zimbabwean bowlers up a little bit. I don't think they'll change that.
Okay, the Zimbabwe side does show a last-minute change because Ed Brandes, the big, tall, quick bowler, got injured in practice yesterday, so they've included Brian Strang, brother of Paul Strang, the leg spinner. Brian Strang, very useful left-arm fast medium bowler. Two left-armers now in the match, Alan Mullally and Brian Strang.
From the international panel, Steve Dunn from New Zealand, just waiting for that watch to... We're ready for the first ball of the first ever Test match between Zimbabwe and England. Pitches kept going well. Well, Steve Dunn's given... Grant has played in every one of Zimbabwe's Test matches. This is their 21st. Average of just over 30, but he has made a double 100. Some late swing there for Mullally, but there's no mid-on, so John Crawley's got the long chase from bat pad.
Well, I think he'll play a big part in the series.
That's out. Brilliantly taken by Crawley at short leg. Success straight away for Darren Gough and England. That's bounced from a good length. Fine bowling by the Yorkshireman. Carlisle has gone for naught, and Zimbabwe a 3 for 1.
That's a bit of pace there, a bit of bounce. And a good catch as well. Stuart Carlisle goes for naught, 3 for 1.
early appearance for the Zimbabwean skipper, Alistair Campbell. Tall, good-looking left-handed player, just 20 runs short of 1,000 in Test match cricket. It'll be the... That's up and over Mullally. Darren Gough won't be looking forward to that chase down to the boundary. First boundary of the Zimbabwean innings, and an impressive and positive stroke from their skipper.
Through it. Beautiful straight bat.
Be more runs here. Silverwood's not going to get to that, so two vain chases by the Yorkshireman out there for England. And the makings of an expensive Mullally over. Both Mullally and Gough really struggling with their line to Campbell. Offside. That's a beautiful shot. That's the shot of the morning so far. If he continues like this, he might have his wish.
Should be a nicket.
Just wide of Croft in that short extra cover position. Tufnell gets his first touch. 3 more to Campbell, he's racing along. That's 1,000 test runs for Alistair Campbell. Croft in action again. So an early landmark for the home captain. That's a terrific achievement. He's been ever present in this most youthful of test match nations. 4 figures comes up. This is
Queen's Club ground in Bulawayo. Chris Silverwood, of course, in his first test match here. Bowling to Alan. And that's all you can ask. First delivery on a length and straight. Good shot. Very fine shot. Plenty of time, it seemed, to play. To square there.
That's one thing that Chris Silverwood can't afford to do. He's not...
More bowls, big shouts. Steve Dunn is the umpire, the New Zealand umpire, who's turning down that appeal. That's good bowling. Couple of short balls, got ground flower, just hesitating to be straight too.
It swung late. There it goes. I think that's a good decision.
In his first appearances in international cricket. Oh, good ball. It's a lovely start for Robert Croft. Just a little bit of deception in the flight to Campbell.
Oh, this is really close, because the batsman's not gone anywhere at all. I can't see how that can't be out.
These Zimbabweans have played nice and straight. There's a good looking shot down to a vacant third man. And Alistair Campbell continuing how he started off, being very positive. A thick outside edge, but it was hard. There's no one down there.
It's a beautiful stroke. Campbell can bat all day and he won't hit the ball any better than that. Ball in a perfect position.
Well, before this, I think the shot of this match.
4 more. Not an easy baptism out there for Chris Silverwood. It's 59 for 1. Flower determined not to be dominated by Croft. Has just thumped him away over mid-wicket for 4. And that'll worry Michael Atherton, because Croft is one of his bankers here today. If Flower gets in on the act with Campbell, could be tricky out there. 19 is back into the attack. Gough, the wicket taker, 13. And Campbell's timing is supreme this morning. All his natural talent is on show.
And if ever he's got a chance to capitalise and get a big score, it certainly is today.
Oh, lovely stroke that is. Just waited long enough to pick the gap, and it brings the 50 for Alistair Campbell. Gorgeous innings. Third 50 against England on the tour, that is. Never made 100 in a test match, but he's made 59 times. Croft is one of the few English finger spinners that does really stuck in the way that Alistair Campbell has all morning. That's the second time that he's been cut backward of square, and on that occasion the ball bouncing to a lovely height for Campbell to play the cut stroke.
You're so kind, Mark. Thank you very much. Terrific for England this morning. That early wicket of Stuart Carlisle going down to Darren. But the home side have come back with a big bang, and that'll be another boundary through the offside this time. 11 boundaries for Alistair Campbell.
Well, he's worked this pitch out very well, and the bounce has been good for these sort of shots. It hasn't been quite as high as the bounce.
Going to Grant Flower. And he finds the edge, but there's no third man. So more disappointment for England. Another boundary. That's wide of net. Second slip.
Nothing Darren Gough can do about this. He's been the most consistent, actually, the bowlers this morning, I think. 1 for 30.
Decided rather they would go for Houghton. Edged again. There's no third man. That boundary down to third man will bring up the 100 partnership between Campbell and Flower, and also the 100 for Zimbabwe.
Well, a streaky way to get there. Really through the line of where third slip would have been. Maybe just.
Silverwood will begin this afternoon session with the ball, bowling from the town end. Second spell in Test cricket. Campbell on strike. Working that confidently away on the leg side. Short and wide, and smacked away in uncompromising fashion by Grant Flower for 4.
One place you can. In batsmen, they love a bit of wit.
It's out. It's a great catch by Hussain at third slip. Well bowled to Chris Silverwood. His first wicket in Test cricket. Completed with the aid of a brilliant Nasser Hussain.
This really is a very fine catch. Pushing at it. Wasn't there to drive, but Nasser Hussain moving very well away to his left. Grant Flower's gone for 43. Zimbabwe 130 for 2.
David Houghton at the crease, generally regarded as Zimbabwe's best batsman. The highest score by a Zimbabwean batsman in Test cricket, 266 against Sri Lanka on this ground in 1994-95. 400s. Waited for it, Campbell, as that ball was tossed higher, just a little bit wider. Boundary, the first runs off Robert Croft since the lunch break.
With a wit, but it's tossed up there. It turned the rough. Hit it on the.
Big shouts. Pretty straight. Well, there's an element of risk in the shot. That was fired through slightly more quickly by Robert Croft. He's out when thrust down the pitch. The line is pretty good. It's maybe just outside off stump at the.
It does look as though we could get a storm a bit later.
That's off the edge. That's a nice, easy catch. Well, that's a good reward for Robert Croft. He's bowled well today. He's bowled steadily. Alistair Campbell, well, that's a disappointment for him. He batted yet to make a Test 100, and he looked well on his way today.
Yes, Alistair Campbell having played superbly well, and really he will be very disappointed with that shot. But that's good bowling by Robert Croft. He deserves that. He's kept it very tight since lunch. He's bowled a very good line, very good length. And he induced Alistair Campbell to play a rash shot. He has not scored a Test 100 yet, but a tremendous innings, 84.
One of the ever-presents in this Zimbabwe Test side, averaging over 40, 41.31. Puts him...
And Tufnell could play an important role later in the day.
That's nicely squeezed through the offside. Got a bottom hand in the shot. Lot of timing too. 4 runs. Injury and disappointment. Followed now by 4 runs. Nice, comfortable shot from Andy Flower.
We've seen this a few times so far today. A bit of width by the England bowlers, a bit short.
That wear the ball pretty quickly. Single takes Zimbabwe now to 150. So for the pace bowler like Darren Gough, there isn't going to be that much assistance from the ball itself at this stage. Really to a safe region. Oh, a bowl, that's got him. Must have. Oh, can't believe it.
This is a wonderful delivery from Robert Croft. Andy Flower in 2 minds there, probably a bit fuller than he expected. And that came off the pad. The bat just missed, maintaining that good line and length. And there's a hefty shot from David Houghton. There's no one out there. That's gone to the boundary. It's 6, and that's 154 for 3.
Full shot, wasn't it? Just helped with the spin.
And we've got a period now where both sides working hard to regain the upper ground. Darren Gough is the bowler. That's good stroke. No problem at all for Houghton. He had all the time in the world. There's no pace when you bang the ball in the middle of this pitch.
And ball from Gough, admittedly, but look how Houghton dismisses that.
It's been at 9:15 for some time now. That's helped on its way. And bounces high over Chris Silverwood down there at long leg.
It's just drifting down, but it might have been a bit interesting that very close to the leg stump, but...
Well, someone's got to chase it now. That someone is Darren Gough. It's going to be fruitless whatever happens. That's hiked away. It hasn't been hit cleanly. Still going to be 4 runs, though. And so with that last over before tea, costing 10, the last ball going for 4 from Andy Flower. Hardly a batsman playing 40 at that stage. Zimbabwe bring up the 200. 200 for 3 they are at tea. Dave Houghton and Andy Flower unseparated. And this is an important partnership for Zimbabwe.
It's 5 o'clock in Bulawayo.
Andy Flower not quite timing that, but it's going to go all the way for 4. Again, a bit of width off the front foot.
Beautifully timed. We're playing in the Curry Cup. Big noise, and the batsman walks. There's no movement from umpire Ian Robinson, but Dave Houghton, a wicket-keeper himself in his time, concedes that he got a little edge on that. Alex Stewart has held on to the catch. That's a vital breakthrough for England, and the 4th Zimbabwe wicket goes down.
Robert Croft really deserving this wicket again. Bit of bounce, bit of pace. Not turning that one, the straight one, and Dave Houghton, well, he knew he got an edge, and he was off. But a good innings, 34. 206 for 4.
Chris Silverwood made his debut for England this morning. Now it's Andy Waller's turn for Zimbabwe. Andy Waller, 37 years of age.
Round the bat. A good-looking shot.
Well, that's Andy Waller's first run in Test match cricket, and I think England got that. One-day cricket, that slow ball. That wasn't a slow ball off the bat. A magnificent off-drive.
This will give Andy Waller some confidence. Darren Goff over pitching. Beautiful off-drive, put to the ball.
As he can. Oh, that's a miss.
Waller always prepared to put bat to ball, as we said. He's down the wicket here. He tries to get it airborne, but he hits that very hard. Must go down.
So it means that Andy Flower can't leave it or pat it away with any great confidence.
Now, this time, Nick Knight is convinced he's caught it. What's more, he's convinced it's come off bat at some stage, but the crucial decision has been Robinson. It was a very sharp piece of work indeed by Nick Knight. He's a specialist, a very good field in this position, some 2.5 yards from the bat.
Alex Stewart's the key here. Normally very ignition square of the wicket.
That's a lovely shot. Just tossed too high and wide this time by Phil Tufnell, who is rightly annoyed at himself. Now then, this time, yes, that's out. It's been a 50-minute vigil for Andy Waller. He's not happy to go, but the finger has been raised. So Robert Croft again gets the reward for persistence. Now a shake of the head. The pressure has told. Has it told on the umpire as well?
Well, this has turned and bounced over the wicket from Croft. I'm not really sure that there was anything on that, apart from a bit of pad flap. England catches, and unhappy Andy Waller's gone for 15, 235 for 5.
Used flight and bounce, and now...
It's sometimes with a seamer bowling, you can use the pace of the ball to get away. Snurd it off your legs. Push it over.
Good strike. Just a good clean hit. Away with the spin, and it takes Andy Flower to 50. 12th time he's done that in Test match cricket.
Well, this is a good shot. He's moved his feet. He's coming down the wicket. Phil Tufnell sees him coming.
Stroke. He's at the top of the bounce. Didn't quite get it, but he will get 4 for it. And the one thing you see...
Short, you've got to get it straight. And I was very strong in this area.
I don't really think it's fair. They've got plenty of opportunity to complain. All right. Just taking the wicket. Well done, England.
Bit of extra bounce with this new ball. Gets rid of Guy Whittle. Zimbabwe lose their 6th wicket.
Well, Mark Atherton took the new ball, and this is just what he wanted. Guy Whittle just deep gully, and Zimbabwe lose their 6th wicket, 252 for...
Width from Mullally, full as well. He's in the air, but it's between cover and extra cover for Andy Flower's 7-4.
Yes, the Zimbabweans love a bit of width. That's wide, it's full flail of the bat.
Oh, fine delivery from Mullally. That's one of the...
This is a beautiful delivery. Very high arm action, and that's swung, seamed, and that's over
the end of the first day's play in this inaugural test match between Zimbabwe and England.
The day's...
First runs of the day. Silverwood in action down at long leg. The England seamers struggled for most of it, so there should be some extra bounce for Robert Croft. Nicely flighted, but nicely played by Strang. Off the mark in good style. That'll go all the way to the fence.
Yes, just a little bit too much flight. Getting it just too far up there. Nice half volley in the end.
Short this time from Croft. There'll be 4 more. Thorpe won't catch that. Goff to Paul Strang. No third man, 4 runs. 3 boundaries already to Paul Strang. He's looking at...
Well, he's starting very positively. Front foot. The ball was wide there. This is the...
Now that we've seen something of Tufnell. There's the swing from Mullally. And that'll squirt away for 4. And yet again, England pay from bowling short. 6 from the over. 299 for 6. Well, that's unusual stuff on the second morning of a test match, but it's 4 because it's played with control and no little skill, and it brings up the 300 and also the 50 partnership between these two, and Andy Flower is proving a real thorn in the England side.
And it's always good to get that first day under your belt. And there's a big shot. In the air.
Ever watchful. Get off the mark till this morning. Picked up any of them. Signs, of course, that this pitch will turn appreciably later on in the game. Gone for the shot again, this time controlled and hit over the top. 1 bounce 4. 9 from the over. Productive one for Strang. And none over the ground at the moment. Pulled away. Silverwood cannot afford to drop short.
Chris Silverwood again just dropping, not that shot. Andy Flower quick onto that. That's a full toss and that's swept. Square and misfielded.
To hit this on the full toss, it's an orthodox sweep. You've got your deep square leg back there to save the 4, and that is lazy. And sort of lengthy should be by. It's short and quite deliberately poked over the top of slip by Paul Strang. Caused him no problems whatsoever. Very, very well played.
Well, this is a lovely shot from Paul Strang. A bit unusual. The attempted bouncer.
Slower ball. And out. Caught by Tufnell, who's redeemed himself for letting that fall through his legs the previous over. Good catch. And Silverwood claims his 3rd wicket and England's first of the morning.
Chris Silverwood to pitch the ball up. We didn't intend him to pitch it this far up, but it's claimed a wicket. Good slow ball, well caught by Phil Tufnell.
Strang goes for 38, it's 3-3-1 for 7. Heath Streak is Zimbabwe's number 9 batsman. Average of 12.73, 150 in Test match cricket, but he's a better bat than that. A mean striker of the ball.
And younger ones. I think it is more useful if players can build together. Umpire Dunn looks at his watch, and Ian Robinson agrees that that will be lunch here at Queen's Club, Bulawayo. Zimbabwe going to lunch on 337 for 7, and the hero of the morning for Zimbabwe, Andy Flower, who goes to lunch 94 not out.
That's nicely played as well. Heath Streak using good common sense in the way he's playing, and that takes Zimbabwe on to 350. Rapturous applause from this packed house. And I'm sure the home fans, there aren't that many here, I have to say, that they'll be happy enough with the way Zimbabwe have played. 350 against England in this match between the two countries. It's taken them 800 balls exactly. And the last 50 coming up in 148 deliveries. That's the slowest 50 of the innings.
And very well deserved it'll be. And there's a reverse sweep. And could that be it? Yes. He's got a lot of bat on that. That may actually go all the way. No.
A very well-deserved 100 for Andy Flower. His third in Test match cricket. It's come at a very good time for his side. Very competent innings. One or two aggressive shots. Most of the time a very controlled innings. For a very fine player. 101 not out. It's taking him 313 balls. Includes 10 fours. That's a good firm shot. Firm enough to beat Fit mid-on. And the first boundary of the innings for Heath Street. Nice shot too.
Heath Street, who's shown a lot of patience. He's waited for the half volley for a long time, and he's stump. No. Don't think that's going to give the England batsman too much confidence. But there's a lovely shot, very well timed by Andy Flower. Found the gap on the offside, leant into it. Beautiful shot.
Disappointing to see another no ball from Phil Tufnell. Nicely played though by Andy Flower. Just take advantage. The ball was just that bit further pitched up.
And smashed away. Nothing that cover point could do about that.
Sure. The problem for Mike Atherton, the fact that his bowlers
gone for the hook and played it beautifully.
I don't know he's going to bowl the bouncer and get up high like that. He's got to put out someone for the hook.
Bowled in, inside edge, onto off stump, and Mullally gets rid of Streak. Somewhat unfortunate for the Zimbabwe batsman.
Shorter length. Streak going on the back foot. A little bit quicker than he thought, maybe a little more bounce. Down onto his feet, and he's gone for 19, and Zimbabwe are 372 for 8.
Brian Strang, brother of Paul, is Zimbabwe's number 10 batsman. Right-hand bat, he's a left-arm seam bowler and a capable batsman. Best of 42 in Test cricket against Pakistan.
To his feet.
Well, Strang's away. First ball with the old leg stump half volley, flicked away to fine leg for 4.
Going for the full length.
With just Henry Alonga to come. Tufnell's the bowler. And it's a top edge, and Alex Stewart's taking the catch. Although Andy Flower doesn't want to go, he's been given out. Tremendous excitement from all the England fielders. If there was any doubt at all that Flower had got something on that. And Stewart completed the catch.
Well, this will be interesting to see. I feel it might have hit him on the arm. Very, very hard to tell, and I think that very well taken by Alex Stewart, and Andy Flower's patient knock is to an end, 112, and Zimbabwe 376 for 9.
And that's out. Just pushed into the hands of Nick Knight at silly mid-off, and Phil Tufnell wraps up the tail in the space of 4 balls. Alonga failing to get off the mark.
Phil Tufnell is doing this. Off stump, the Alonga pushing forward, and a straightforward regulation catch to Nick Knight. And that brings the end of the Zimbabwean innings. No longer not troubling the scorer. 12 for naught, and Zimbabwe all out for 376.
That's the full card. 376 Zimbabwe in their first innings in a test match against England. Star of the innings, Andy Flower, with his 112. We'll be back at Queen's Club, Bulawayo, in just a couple of minutes. Seemed to be about to break through there, was Flower hanging on for his country. Croft 3 for 77, the best of his effort came yesterday. Nice to see Chris Silverwood on debut, 3 for 63. He came back well after a very tricky start. And Tufnell, Mullally and Goff getting in on the act with those wickets.
Thanks very much indeed, Mark. Here's Heath Streak. He's bowling from the town end. Management team have thought long and hard about their best batting order on this short test match tour of Zimbabwe. First runs on the leg side. England captain off the mark. Michael Atherton looked in pretty wretched form during the one-day international, and to some degree I feel he's lost his way in one-day cricket. England Nick Knight on his way with a boundary 4.
Nick Knight, watched him in the nets over the last couple of days as well. Very interesting, in fact, against Pakistan. And he showed that you don't have to bowl any great pace, but if you do swing it, particularly with the left arm variety, you've got every chance of taking wickets. If you bowl short outside off stunt, you've got every chance of going for 4.
Strang making the same mistake as Mullally. Too wide. Beautiful shot. So square off the back foot. Atherton shows that he can do exactly the same thing.
Different style of bowling to this. That's a fine shot. Perfectly played again by Nick Knight. That's his third boundary. And very good footwork.
Top shot from Knight, but certainly not one out of the Dennis Lilly locker.
Edged away, that's going to be 4. Perfectly safe. Wide of that third slip. In the third man, Zimbabwe on the attack here. Feel they can do without one. It's cost Henry Olonga 4 runs though. That's a good shot. Just a little wide from Paul Strang. That's been Nick Knight's strength today. Virtually all his boundaries have come square on the offside. Seam bowler. Sorry, the best opening partnership. It's all so far. That's got to be close, and that's out. Mike Atherton trapped right in front of the stumps, misjudging the length, misjudging the pace, and it's Paul Strang who has struck first for Zimbabwe. England losing that first wicket on 48.
Well, good bowling this. May have been pushed through a little bit quicker. Deceived Michael Atherton. Right back on his stumps. Pitched in line with the stumps. Turned a fraction. And hit Atherton on the knee roll. Plum LBW. As Atherton played across the line. Captain's gone for 16. England are 48 for 1.
In full colour as well. Paul Strang will be the bowler, and Alex Stewart, new to the crease, will face the first ball of the morning. In the commentary box to talk you through it are Mike Proctor and Bob Willis.
Stewart averaging over 40 runs per innings in Test match cricket. Fast approaching 4,000 runs. That's Alex Stewart's record when he's had to keep wicket for England. Not so impressive. but under 1,000 runs. Stewart off the mark. There'll be at least 3 here. And in fact, it goes all the way.
Paul Strang trying to extract as much turn as he can from this wicket. Over-pitching there, and Alex Stewart.
Time given. Again, from the town end. It's in the air, but over the top. Knight will pick up 4 runs, but not particularly convincing.
Length has been much better today. He's got the ball a bit further up. And Nick Knight going for...
That's 4 more. Well, I think they've discovered a Nick Knight weakness out there. I'm not sure I'd agree.
Short and wide, and Nick beautifully. A shot he played very
early on. Well, that's one place they haven't got a fielder. 3rd man.
Nick Knight.
Well, that's a magnificent shot.
Yes, Henry Longer, short, wide.
Just a couple of days.
That's a beauty. That's a real beauty. Big shout. I don't think anybody's quite sure what that has hit, but it's the perfect googly to the right-hander. And
this is well worth a look. Well, that looks actually sort of out to me. It's come off the back pad.
Wonderful stroke, and it brings up the 50 for Nick Knight. It's a very good positive innings, and it's his 8th boundary. Enormous amount of them have come in that region behind point on side, and he looks on song.
Certainly does. And this is traditionally the strong area of the left-hander. That's the tradition.
Smashed away, and it's the 9th boundary in the region behind point on the offside.
Very safe. It's gone off the edge, up and over.
That weren't. That is well bowled. That is well bowled, and it's out. It's the slower ball, the little swing up. We were just saying that Henry Olonga is playing in order to be able to snatch a wicket from nothing. And he's done it. Nick Knight looks disappointed, almost as if he might have got a thin inside edge onto it, but it's full on the boot as far as we can see.
Yeah, he's got the bat stuck behind the pad, there's no doubt about that. Just a moment's thought from Steve Dunn. You see the foot moving outside the off stump after the shot is played. Good wicket for Henry Olonga. Disappointment for Nick Knight, especially as he played so well. That is 92 for 2.
Nasser Hussain is the new batsman, tugging on the gloves and striding to the crease for England. Good record so far in a rebirth of a Test career, averaging virtually 40. It's a chance, a difficult one. First ball, Hussain just pushing Strang away off the face of the bat into Stuart Carlisle's hands.
Yes, the question just looking at how Stuart Carlisle goes up and such promise, and I must admit he's done no favours at all to Andy Flower, who...
And Carlisle. Oh, that must be very, very close.
Well, let's have another look. He's misjudged the length a fraction. Might just be... That could be what saved him. It's a genuine googly. The left foot goes wide. It's splayed wide. That's pulled away very firmly. That's a more authentic shot. That's what he's been looking to do, get himself off the mark in positive fashion. Then the 100 comes up.
Pretty good rate. Hussain looks very positive.
Help them. It's a good shot from Stewart. Picked the gap nicely and got it away for 4.
I think Alex Stewart will be quite pleased to have got this one through. He's hit the field 2 or 3 times with similar deliveries, but this one he's waited a little bit longer.
Lovely shot. Despairing dive by Guy Whittle at point. He can't stop it. And that's the first boundary for 9 overs.
Yes, once again you see him on his toes, Nasser Hussain, and that's come out of the meat of the bat. Just bowl like this. Without oh, it's just over mid-wicket. Guy Whittle doesn't quite make it.
Certain amount of frustration about that stroke from Stewart. Just getting his front. Fine piece of fielding. Ends the morning session. England go to lunch on the 3rd day of this first ever test match between Zimbabwe and England on 128 for 2. They started the day on 40.
Reach you later. There we are. That's Nick Knight. Back to you in the commentary box.
Thanks very much, Charles. Brian Strang gets us underway. Nasser Hussain nicely into line.
Tight off the back foot, square cuts. And certainly he would be very disappointed to get out for 56. Nasser Hussain edging 1 to 3rd man for a couple of runs.
First runs after lunch for England. It's also interesting under 3 runs per over. Pulled away by Alex Stewart, not even bothering to run for that. It's his 5th boundary.
Alex Stewart picks this up very quickly. A longer, not really an attempted bouncer, a long hop out.
Back and hit it through mid-wicket. It's resulted in... glorious shot off the back foot from Alex Stewart. Just waited for that. Just hammered that through extra.
Alex Stewart favouring the back foot today. And Brian
pulled away and pulled away very competently in front of square. All on the floor through mid-wicket for a boundary that brings up the 50 partnership.
Good shot from Nasser Hussain. Quite a quick bouncer, well directed, just outside the line of the off stump. But Hussain very quick down.
80. No ball, 4. See, Stewart 7th back.
Well, when you're going to bowl at this sort of pace, short and with width, Alex Stewart quick onto that.
It's a beautiful stroke. That really is a good shot. Timed and hit through mid-wicket for 4.
Well, Brian Strang just over pitching here. Hint of a little in-swing to Alex Stewart. But really that's
nicely balanced run-up. Glorious stroke. Extra cover drive for 4. No need to run.
Right in the slot. Lovely half volley on the off stop.
Sachin Tendulkar 2nd. It's a big shout as Stewart goes for the sweep, and he's been given LBW. Ian Robinson's finger goes up. And Strang gets a wicket with 5th ball of his new spell.
Well, Alex Stewart looking for the sweep. That ball's pretty straight. He's a long way down the wicket. And I suppose Alec might think himself a little bit unlucky. Doesn't look too happy. England 160 for 3.
The left-handed Graham Thorpe is the next England batsman. 33 matches now. And average over 40 in those 60 innings. Just 200s, though. and indeed he hasn't scored a Test century since February 1995.
Sure it is.
That's 4. He's away, Thorpe, and he needs that going. Hasn't shown the form of last summer. What a lovely way to get off the mark.
It's a matter of helping it on its way. Down there, more in control of his delivery now. Just a little bit wayward. And that was wide, and the bat was thrown at it, and it's 4 runs, but it's...
There's a positive intent, which is a good thing. I think the best of the English batting last summer came when they were keen to get stuck. I think Thorpe, rather like Hussain, has decided that if he's going to be at the crease...
It's almost as if people lost their concentration for a little while, and then it's all over. Well, that's 4 runs. Fine shot. And Thorpe loves a bit.
Graham Thorpe. That's trouble. That's trouble and out. The end for Graham Thorpe. And another extremely clever bit of bowling. Seems to me that that's one of the Paul Strang. The ability to spin the ball away from the left-hander, which is in effect a googly.
That's a magnificent piece of bowling. And that is very much defeated Graham Thorpe. He didn't read it. Gets the outside edge to the googly, which is the one that turns away from the left-hander. And well taken at slip by Alistair Campbell.
Any leg spinner when he gets a wicket with a googly. Beautifully pitched, beautifully flighted.
Bowler. That's through. England recording their first boundary for 6 overs.
Thumping drive by Nasser Hussain. Width is the key to this.
Off the mark at last. And Grant Flower can't cut it off, so it's a boundary to send John Crawley on his way.
Reach for this well, Crawley. The heads come over in line. That's the key thing to...
Brian Strang can't get there. That'll be 4.
Beautiful stroke this by John Crawley. Okay, it was a full toss, but look at the control of the shown by John Crawley.
That's a superb cricket stroke. High proportion of this 199 in boundaries.
Couldn't wish for a better extra cover, though. I want to talk about the permutations that they can use as Hussain laps that away backward of square and brings up England's 200.
Nasser Hussain loves the sweep. Well played.
The nod from Nasser Hussain. I don't think that was a good ball.
Nicely bowled. Now the keeper and the slips. Well, the keeper seemed enthusiastic, Andy Flower. I have to say that Paul Strang, the bowler, at no real stage gave it everything. And that's why any noises were bat onto pad. Nicely ZIMBABWE for 48. That's found a gap in the field. Once it's through, it's normally got to be 4. In this case, this is the case again.
One of the rare loose deliveries from Paul Strang. Tossed it up, half volley.
And And that's 50 for Nasser Hussain. 131 balls it's taken him. And very welcome indeed for England.
$50 not out to Nasser Hussain. He's done the hard work. Been there for 177 minutes. Can he turn this into...
Two of the ones that have come and gone, they just...
Go up to second level, but once we finish up there, we'll bring him down to this level.
So, presumably when a wicket falls, that's when it gets hairy for you, is it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
What do you have to do? Do you have to get it, how do you sort of pride yourself on how quickly you can get it all sorted out, so to speak?
No, not at all. Got the TV, yeah. What happens there.
Well, that's fine. But I mean, you can't actually see what you put
Side leg stump. Good shot. And 4 runs. Opting to play the shot, even though there's a man very fine on the leg side, waiting for the potential top edge. This was very well played.
And I don't think Paul Strang will mind that. He's and backward square leg on the fence.
There's the top edge. Oh, and now does that quite go down as a chance? Dave Houghton is the man there, the oldest man on the field. Might just have been a fraction of a second slow in setting off, but you've got to judge the catch. That's exactly why he's there. Didn't quite make it. That's a good shot, though. 4 more runs. And they bring up the 50 partnership between Hussain and Crawley.
Good shot from Hussain.
Although Paul Strang has gone round the wicket here, there's been nothing negative about the approach. And the end of another good over. The end of this afternoon session. England on 231 for 4. And a session in which 103 runs were scored, the loss of 2 wickets, off 33 overs. And then still behind by 145.
Left-armers before tea, but Alistair Campbell's going to give him another go after the interval. It's very much a case. ...21 balls after tea for England to record their first run.
Exactly made you sit up and think, oh, they're going to bowl us out. He's got him this time. That will be sore. That's the 4th blow, but this one I think somewhere near the knee, Stuart Carlisle, and that will be sore, and he's certainly felt it.
Those close fielders now wear a fair amount of protection, but that seems to have missed the padding. Smacking onto the outside of the net. Better stroke. Paul Strang too short, and John Crawley too good for him.
John Crawley very quickly onto this. Paul Strang not that short, but he picks it as the leg break, and he's into place very, very. Stuart Carlisle, he thought it was all over. Luckily for him and for England. That's good cricket there, because
full toss, a longer charging round, good dive, but it's ricocheted off him, and another dive.
over pitching here, and John Crawley very quickly on it, working it through that mid-wicket area. And Longer gets there very quickly and goes for the slide, but kicks it.
That'll be 4 more. The part-time bowler not able to sustain his line and length. Hussain rocking back, picking his spot through that vacant offside area.
Certainly looking in command now.
Good over for England, 10 runs coming from it, and they post their 250 for the loss of 4 wickets. 126 runs behind now with 6 first innings wickets left. 524 balls and 322 minutes. Bulawayo, very cool evening, the temperature dipping down to about 12 degrees last night. Floodgates beginning to open now with Grant Flower taking a pasting.
Short and wide.
Is alongside me, about as good with the new ball as it got in his day, and with the sight of another long hop and a thunderously well-struck boundary by Nasser Hussain, Mike, I've got to on you with Grant Flower's gentle left-arm spin and a pretty tired-looking Paul Strang when the new ball's available.
4th, 5th slip area. No third man. Once it's past them, it's 4 runs. Now, just 98 runs behind, with 6 wickets left.
Nearly a return chance for Brian Strang. It was just out of his reach. Edged away very safely. Only a slip.
Well, if you're going to flash hard. John Crawley going for the extra cover drive.
To me, it's a slightly odd decision just to take it out, as it were, on the wives and girlfriends. Take it out on the ball, that's the answer. Nicely played. You'll see again how Nasser Hussain displays that front foot wide of the line of the ball to give the bat room to swing through. Picks the gap pretty well too.
Well, as you said, he gives himself room to get his arms through. And
no ball, and cover is very deep, giving John Crawley a well-deserved 50. Played beautifully and applauded by the crowd here, the England supporters who've made the journey here to Zimbabwe, and also the locals. Very timely innings that from John Crawley. He's been in good form on this tour. And he's played beautifully. 145 balls he's faced. 7 boundaries. And that's the 6th time he's passed 50 in Test match cricket. 100 he has to his name. That was at the end of last season. Maybe if someone's strolling around in the vicinity. I don't think he's actually made contact with that. Somehow reached Alistair Campbell at slip.
well, this hits the footholes. And it turns and bounces, and actually Alistair Campbell does very well.
Well, in a by-sailing position. Now that could be it. Punched away through mid-wicket. They run the first 2. Andy Waller is the man after it. And Nasser Hussain has made it through to his 3rd Test match 100. Very well played indeed. And he's enjoyed it.
Well, they've had a lot of stick in the first few games, but I think it's more relief than anything else, and he really has played well. He's been positive from the moment he came out. And the delighted Nasser Hussain acknowledges the applause from all around the ground.
One ball remaining in the over. And I expect the umpires' watches have moved round to 5 o'clock. Comfortably survived the last over by Nasser Hussain and John Crawley. 1 run coming from it, and England finishing the day in a happy position. 306 for 4 they are, exactly 70 runs behind, and these two men have played some excellent cricket. Nasser Hussain, England's vice-captain, will lead them off. He's 101 not out, with 13 fours made in 313 minutes. John Crawley, his partner, 51 not out, no lesser a performance. He's only been there for just over 3 hours. We're delighted to be back on air now and show you the progress of England's innings this morning. They started on 306 for 4. Nicely placed, it seems, to overhaul Zimbabwe's 376. And they've moved on slowly to 330 for 5. Nasser Hussain is the man out this morning. And you see Henry Olonga bowling to John Crawley. It's a defensive field when Crawley's on strike. And this is it.
His streak, a well-directed bouncer. Hussain getting a top edge, and Brian Strang taking 4, 5, 6 paces back, looking for the ropes. He just puts out his left hand and catches it quite easy.
Hussain gone for 113. Paul Strang has not surprisingly been in operation all day from the airport end of the ground. Googly just about picked. Pretty well hit. And 4 runs.
Robert Croft, who struggled a little bit against Paul Strang, but that ball pitching halfway down, and I think he read that googly and dispatched it pretty comfortably for 4.
And they've kept the pressure on at Paul Strang's end. Oh, so close. Well, Robert Croft very lucky to get away with that. The ball was certainly short enough, but kept a bit low. In the end, the inside edge gets him 2 more runs.
There's quicker leg break from Paul Strang. And Croft, I don't know whether he thought that was a googly, but he misjudged it. A bit fortuitous and edging it just past the off stump for a couple of runs.
Here's another look at the wicket that's fallen this morning. Nasser Hussain going for the 6, getting underneath it and getting it most of the way there, but look at that catch. The one thing that Brian Strang did well was keep his hand up above the level of his eyes. The fact that he only used 1 in the end, he got away with it. I'm sure there are many coaches saying get them both up, make absolutely certain. But he's very relieved. He's a yard in from the rope. Hasn't made him that much quicker, though. Big shout and out. Henry Olonga strikes. Robert Croft is LBW. And England have lost their 6th wicket. That's a disappointment for him. It's also a bit of a worry for John Crawley, who might start now to run out of partners.
Here's Robert Croft, getting too far across, playing across the line. He had to play across his front pad. He's tended to do that in this innings. And England have lost their 6th wicket with a total on 340.
Darren Gough is the man coming out to join John Crawley. Average is 21 in Test match cricket. That best, his 65 against New Zealand, came in his first Test match. But he made his maiden first-class 100 last summer. That's out. Well, they had to wait just for a little while. There seemed to be a question of taking the options there. Darren Gough getting just underneath that, straight to short leg, where Grant Flower took what in the end turned out to be quite a simple catch. There's no doubt about that at all. He stood 4 or 5 yards back, and just in case Steve Dunn wasn't going to judge it out in a hurry, also taking the chance to have a shot at the stumps. 344 for 7. His first-class career to date shows him with an average of 11.5.
That's a firm shot too. Andy Waller's after it again. Seems to have aged visibly over the last 3 days.
And hopefully we'll be with you now until the lunch break and then on through the afternoon. England 3:53 for 8 now. Crawley still in command. The last wicket to fall was that of Chris Silverwood in the last over, bowled by Paul Strang. What a soft dismissal in the end, but good bowling by Strang. He's got that leg break to bounce and turn, and Silverwood just gloving the ball to David Houghton at Gully. Level with Zimbabwe and then push on past them. Task for Alan Mullally and Phil Tufnell. Not much support from Croft, Goff or Silverwood. Positions. And the challenge taken up by John Crawley's lofted that high over extra cover for 4. Top quality batting.
John Crawley using his feet and hitting to the safest place to hit a leg spinner. He can pick it, he knows it's a leggy, and he goes with the spin and over extra cover.
Attempted it again, this time along the floor. Will not take the run.
Then somehow or other got messed around the field. And put this way, I need a long break at the end of the over.
Pulled away. And it's beaten the fielder who attempted the catch and has conceded 4. So good fortune. Andy Waller, the fielder, or the misfielder.
It's a good shot, this. It's hit very hard, and Andy Waller comes diving in and despairing effort. It's one of those teasers, just does enough to get into the fence.
So last ball before lunch. Well negotiated, well played by Alan Mullally. England 367 for 8. By the Zimbabwean Strang and a longer 410 and 3 for 90 respective.
Good stroke. It's one of Mullally's favourites. Just helping it round. Heath looking for the extra pace and bounce, just losing his line. And Mullally simply clips it away.
There's short ball down the leg side, and Mullally just...
John Crawley would like those 11 runs. But England need to press on with things for the sake of the team and indeed for the sake of the game of cricket.
Couldn't agree with you more, Bob. You've got Heath Streak bowling off 5 or 6 paces. John Crawley tapping it to long off for extra cover or deep mid-wicket. And really one of these two have got to give it a crack. It was a no ball, and England roar ahead.
Will be fascinating to see what Zimbabwe's approach is when these last 2 England wickets fall. They too have been talking a good game. Confidence level high after the first-class and one-day victories against England on the tour. It's well picked up by Mullally, but he's gone. Andy Waller coming in from square leg. Mullally falls into the trap. He made good contact, but he's fallen, and now England have lost their 9th wicket with 378 on the board.
Good tactics this by Zimbabwe. They've seen Mullally's one scoring shot that he's played so far. They've set a fielder back, a good catch, and England lose their 9th wicket.
378 for 9. Last man, Philip Tufnell. very poor average. That best of 22 not out was at Madras, enabled Chris Lewis to make his one and only Test match 100. It's well kept out. Success for Heath Streak in that over.
The boys around him, they probably felt that as well.
Well, that's the response. That's a great shot. What a shot that is. 6 runs down towards the big scoreboard, and eventually it's 100 for John Crawley. Well, a wonderful way to go to the 3 figures, and he certainly deserved to reach them. Hundreds now in successive Test matches for John Crawley.
Well, that's a fine shot. That's what we're talking about, David. There's just one more ball, I think, of this over to go now, and it's short, the field's in, and that's when you take them on. And what a way to bring it up. A magnificent shot.
Well, a little fast to finish with. In fact, John Crawley got a little bit closer to that than I think he thought he did. It was high, it was intentionally high from Heath Streak. But
I think with a bit of width, maybe he should throw the bat at it as well.
Yeah, I think with if he gets a loose delivery, but they're enough to bring up 400 for England. 400 for 9.
Off Strang gives him his 5 for a thoroughly deserved 5-wicket haul for Strang, and it's all over for England.
Perfect leg break too, pitched on off stump and spun away sharply with enough bounce to give a lovely height of catch to Andy Flower. Paul Strang's 3rd 5-wicket haul in Test match cricket, and the 2nd consecutive 100 for John Crawley, made one at the Oval in the last Test of last summer. That is a very, very good innings. Whatever criticism one may have about the last quarter of it, there's no doubt that John Crawley looks a most accomplished batsman. He's a bright and intelligent cricketer with a great deal to offer England in the coming years. Welcome back to the Queen's Club. England have finally been bowled out by Zimbabwe for 406. 5 wickets for Paul Strang, 200s there for Nasser Hussain and for John Crawley. And competent and composed innings they were too. Improved techniques from both of those players. Paul Strang, what a wonderful effort that is. 58.4 overs, 14 maidens and 5 for 123 on the offside. We're back live now with Darren Gough. Great attack in this match in terms of recent England experience. Seemed below par in the first innings. He's coming in nicely here. It's not very convincing, but it's 4.
Well, he'll be a mighty relieved man. Well, Stuart Carlisle. He's off the dreaded pair with a bit of a streaky shot through backward point for 4. To Crawley at short leg.
That's out. All credit to Mullally. He started well. There's a bit of swing there, but no question about the indifferent defence from a man who's looking to open in Test cricket. The end of Stuart Carlisle.
It's very well bowled by Mullally, and all credit too to bowler and captain for posting such an attacking field and getting the men in the right place. Atherton taking the catch at silly mid-off. Carlisle gone for 4, 6 for 1 Zimbabwe.
Welcome back to Bulawayo. Alistair Campbell, the Zimbabwe captain, is new to the crease, though Grant Flower will be on strike. Oh, it's beautifully bowled. That must be close and is out.
That's the big in-swinger from Goff. Grant Flowers having a little look as if to say, I'm a long way outside off stump, but I don't think he was when the ball hit him.
Well, he's plucked this one from nowhere, Darren Goff, because there's not really been a hint of in-swing at all from him. No shot played, and that is going to... well, is it going to hit the top of off stump? There's a long way outside there, and he's well back on off stump. But Grant Flower has gone for naught. LBW to Goff, 6 for 2.
That's a wonderful bit of bowling. It's such clever thinking. Just tested him with a couple of outswingers, the one before he drove at. Remember that you can be hit outside the line and be out LBW if you've offered no stroke, which is what Grant Flower has done. We may, with the benefit of the replays, think that Grant Flower's a little unlucky. What we can certainly do is applaud David Houghton, the new batsman and the most experienced, 39 years of old and
4 centuries. A little bit of a dodgy starter, though, and it is imperative that Darren Goff makes him play. He's given him 2 sighters so far.
It's not convincing either. The second boundary of the innings. They've both come in the third match.
And Campbell will actually quite like to try and battle away out of trouble in a fairly positive fashion. But potentially that was not a long way away from the third wicket of the innings. That's a good position for Michael Atherton on the drive, and therefore a lack of confidence in the management that made Chris Silverwood the choice ahead of Caddick. It's got to be tough. Dave Houghton was home, but only just. And it's 21 for 2. An attempt at a run-out from Phil Tufnell, which would have been a very close run thing.
Earlier in last season.
Great shot. Nicely onto the back foot. That's a reminder of how he played in the first innings. His first boundary of his second innings. Fine shot, that.
Plays the ball on its length. Doesn't worry about getting the feet particularly in the right place. Goff again, not bowling a great line at the left-hander. Plenty of width.
Now, has that been edged? Not according to umpire Steve Dunn. Arms still raised aloft from the entire slips cordon.
Well, it wasn't the full Welsh male choir performance behind the wicket. More carols by candlelight from Cambridge.
That's the end of the over and the end of the session. Good bowling here by England, these first 10 overs.
First runs after tea. Mullally the fielder at fine leg. No gully for Houghton. Short extra catching and a short leg as well. Good stroke. Not an awful lot of foot movement, but beautifully timed and straight driven for 4.
Darren Goff looking for the swing, pitching the ball right up, getting a bit of in swing. But a lovely, firm, positive shot by Dave Houghton. Very well timed.
Bad delivery though, that from Goff. He's pitched the ball up, given it a chance to swing. Houghton picked up and whipped away. Mullally is running round from fine leg, but he won't get there. Campbell very strong off his legs.
Alistair Campbell, the Zimbabwean captain, very strong there, as Paul said, on his legs. And that's overpitched. And a good positive shot, very well timed. Mullally wasn't too far away from it, but that ball certainly hurried to the boundary. Now, as you say, get 2 or 3 more wickets tonight, the game's certainly on.
It's a good shot. That'll go for 4. Campbell's third.
And good to see the Zimbabwean batsman playing their natural game. The area, he scored a lot of runs, but in doing so, he did get the ball airborne a few times.
It's very good running and soul destroying for the bowlers. 50 up for Zimbabwe and slack stuff from England. '50's come up in dead on the hour. 85.
Nice option for the captain.
Good stroke. Another beautiful straight drive from Campbell. No fuss. Just eased past straight mid-off for 4.
Again, Darren Gough looking for the swing, and it's not quite a half volley. It's a very good shot from Alistair Campbell. Beautiful straight bat.
These two came together when the score was 6 for 2. So that single will bring up the 50 partnership between Campbell and Houghton. The recovery process well underway for Zimbabwe. From the first innings.
Off stump. Well worth the shout, just to let the batsman know that...
Great bowling. Terrific bowling. That is a magnificent piece of off-spin bowling by Robert Croft, and he's beaten Alistair Campbell neck and crop.
Classic. Bowled it outside the off stump, turning away, and he's bowled in the swinger, and it's come through the gate and hit leg stump. That really is the highest quality of off-spin bowling. Alistair Campbell, the Zimbabwean captain's gone for 29, and they're now 57 for 3.
We made 112 in the first innings. Brother of Grant, he bats left-handed. Grant's the right-handed opener. 57 for 3. And Ian, I can say, all the time I've been watching off-spin bowling in Test match cricket, I've rarely seen a better piece of bowling than this.
Well, he's done it magnificently. He's bowled it outside the off stump, and there it is, the arm ball. And that is straight through the gate and hits leg stump. It's... For a 26-year-old young man, he really has matured and come on leaps and bounds in a very short time. Any of the greats would have been proud of that.
Well, rush of blood for Houghton. He was looking to hit a boundary, but he wasn't looking to hit it there.
Well, he really has bowled well. To David Houghton, he's not giving him anything. A little bit of frustration creeping in here. He goes for the launch and slices it away over.
That's some swing there, but oh, there's trouble. Oh, and Alex Stewart couldn't gather. You felt that Houghton had no chance if Stewart had picked the ball up cleanly, but the sudden excitement of it all was too much, I think, for the England wicketkeeper.
Such an easy thing to do, isn't it? You just take your eye off the ball at the crucial moment. Houghton had got it away. Now, Andy Flower was intent on coming for the single.
Houghton wasn't. The other thing that interests me here is I noticed that your computer seems to be much smaller than the daily computers. Is that because you don't write as much?
Sizes and everything, Charles, as you know. There's no answer to that, is there? No, well, it's full and packed with action, this, isn't there? There's computer games in there as well that we use from time to time. There is another story.
Out that I've got a bigger computer than Reggie. Right, and one other quick question for you. I mean, I know you also write a sort of a story of the day, but you also write a feature. So what's your feature this week, Peter?
Well, I can't tell you because he's listening. It's exclusive, Charles. Read it in the Mail on Sunday tomorrow.
It will be an exclusive, will it?
Certainly will. And a happy Christmas to all our readers, by the way.
Right, well, I think that's enough of the commercials. Back to you upstairs.
Good stuff. And I can tell you that Norrie and Hayter are regular characters. That's a lovely stroke. Flower just up onto his toes and in an ideal position to crack the ball away square on the offside.
Yes, from this point of view, the pitch is still playing very well indeed.
At 6 for 2 and 57 for 3.
Andy Flower playing the ball very late. Sign of a good player always. Cuts that backward of point. They're going to get 2 or 3 here. Just the 2.
Some turn there for Tufnell, but very well judged by Flower, who wasn't afraid to employ the reverse sweep against Tufnell in the first innings. There's the turn and a bit of bounce, but look how closely the batsman watches it.
Catch it, yes!
Brilliant bowling into the rough stuff. More bounce and turn. This time the catch carries, and Andy Flower has gone. England back in the ascendancy. They're 82 for 4 now, Zimbabwe.
The top bowling by Tufnell. That bounce, that turned off the glove, and Zimbabwe are in trouble.
It's 82 for 4. Andy Waller strides out at number 6 for Zimbabwe. He was unlucky in the first innings. He was given out, called at bat pad after making just 15. No doubt about this decision. Bouncing. And well taken by John Crawley at short leg. Tufnell almost ecstatic. Time the batsman got it just right.
Frustration here for Alan Mullally. He's beaten the bat. Close LB. A bit wayward leg side, and Dave Houghton picking that up beautifully. Equal to the task.
That's pretty straight. Dunn has a little think and says not out. It's 92 for 4. The 5, Andy Waller on 1. Have a look at the last ball of Tufnell's over and get Mike Proctor's opinion about this.
Well, full Tufnell giving a little bit of air. Waller getting his left leg a little bit too far outside. Not outside the off stump, but too far across. The ball straightening into him.
A short mid-wicket, and Waller takes up the challenge and launches him over mid-wicket for 6 to bring up the 100 for Zimbabwe.
Good aggressive shot here from Andy. Well, he got it. And he certainly gets hold of that one, and that sails over the ropes. Well, that's good cricket. England are attacking, and Andy Waller's not going to let the boys settle in and just bowl to him. He's going
to mention the distraction of the shadow on the wicket. To front edge, it's going to be out. Houghton has holed out to mid-on. Off Tufnell, playing across the line. Croft takes the catch, and look at the delight on the England fielders' faces. That is the key wicket.
Well, I think the England boys are going to be pretty happy with this. Always dangerous playing across the line. Edge. And the combination, the Swin twins work. Robert Croft this time catching it off the bowling of Phil Tufnell. David Houghton, the important wicket, is now gone for 37.
And Zimbabwe are 103 for 5. Houghton, Zimbabwe's most experienced player, has got himself out with 3 overs to go in this game. Fit in the form of runs, and that proved his downfall. Big appeal for a catch. Now, has that come off glove after the pad? You would say that the England fielders think it has. The man that matters says it hasn't. 103 for 5.
Well, it hits the pad. Now, what's it hit after the pad when it goes up in the air? Pad. No, it's elbow, and it's a very good decision by the umpire. Yeah, very good decision that. It's clearly off the elbow.
For 5, just 73 runs ahead of England. Andy Waller's played a control stroke, beautifully played, beautifully timed for 4 through extra cover. No thought of him pushing a single and getting down the other end, letting the night watchman fend for himself. Good attacking play. Last ball of the day. Well negotiated by Andy Waller. Zimbabwe finished day 4, 107 for 5. Just 77 runs ahead of England in their second innings. Final session was a good one for England. 80 runs scored by Zimbabwe, but 3 wickets taken by England in 35 overs.
The first ball of the 5th and final day. That's a pretty optimistic stroke. Waller will pick up a single. I've seen better executed sweep shots than that.
Yes, Robert Croft bowling the seamer there, the arm ball, and Waller not picking that one. Well, if he had missed that, there would have been a huge shout.
That's high in the air. Goff's not going to get there. Brian Strang's an adventurous character. I'm not sure these would have been the instructions from his captain, but with Goff in at mid-on for him, trying his arm, he's only just cleared the fielder. It's just bounced about 4 feet in front of Goff. Extra flight, high in the air. Mullally's called for it. He's the man at mid-on. He's taken the catch, and England have got that early breakthrough. Brian Strang, the man who perishes, and Zimbabwe are now 111 for 6.
Tufnell, another good length ball. Strang hitting across the line against a spin. And that ball going very, very high. Well taken by Mullally. And that's just what the doctor ordered for England. Brian Strang out for 3. Zimbabwe 111 for 6.
Which of 22 in Test match cricket. That's not particularly impressive. But he has scored a Test match 100. 113 not out against Pakistan at Harare. The batsman crossed, so these runs being scored by Andy Waller, and Graham Thorpe can't stop the first boundary of the morning.
First boundary of the morning, and the first bad ball. Tufnell pitching the short. The ball spinning away from Waller. He's quick onto it, finds the gap. 4 very valuable runs for Zimbabwe.
England would have got
innings here for Zimbabwe.
That's a big hit over mid-wicket. 4 very convincing runs.
Zimbabwean batsmen have got themselves out playing across the line, but this time Andy Waller getting his foot down the wicket and hitting that beautifully off the middle of the bat. Lovely shot.
Same again. This time it goes all the way for 6. Second 6 of this innings for Andy Waller. Orders now, and that's the 100 lead for Zimbabwe.
Again off the meat of the bat. Just what Zimbabwe want. They're looking for runs. Every run is vital for them. And maybe Phil Tufnell's going to have to change his line just a fraction here.
Pitches around the bat for Croft to Guy Whittle. That's a lovely strike. Just picked up cleanly over wide mid-on and all the way for 6. When Zimbabwe have played their strokes this morning, they've played them very well.
Good feet. Quick feet down the wicket. And that really is a nice shot.
And press and players have enjoyed it very much. Pick up 4 for that. Just picked the gap nicely. Didn't try to hit it too hard. It was short from Croft, and the Guy Whittle made no mistake.
Dragged down round the wicket. Just dragged it down and standing up into position very well and very quickly. And hit it just about square.
He's given that everything. That's a good bit of batting too. Tufnell trying to draw the man forward, and instead Whittle waited on the back foot.
Yeah, it's a good bit of cricket here. This is where Phil Tufnell has probably been done in his own game. He's gone round the wicket. Guy Whittle's just rocked back, aiming for the rough, and it's a little bit too wide really for the right-hander.
He's bowling to Andrew Waller. .150 up for Zimbabwe. Send little ever-increasing floods of confidence into the Zimbabwe dressing room. Well, Ian Botham has just pointed out the dangers of that stroke. The difference there was that Waller got right to the pitch of the ball. It's 157 for 6.
These two, 47 they've put on this morning. Oh, thwarting England really well at the moment.
Oh, that's very well bowled. Perfect Yorker length, and just doing too much. That was the problem for Adam Mullally.
Super ball from Mullally. He's got that in swing going. That's missed everything. Bat, pad and leg stump. That is unlucky as a bowler when you beat the batsman and the leg stump as well.
As the day wears on, the pitch tends to wear a bit more. Tossed up, just a little bit too far. Nicely played by Guy Whittle. This outfield is certainly quick enough. Once you beat the infield with any power at all, 4 runs.
Well, you can't fault anybody here. Robert Croft trying to get that ball right up in the air and spinning out of the rough. And Whittle playing a good stroke. Waited, watched, and struck it through straight extra cover for 4.
And also bringing up the 50 partnership. That's a good shot. Past Nasser Hussain. 4 runs.
Short and wide from Darren Gough. striving for a bit of extra pace, and hammered away by Whittle. Good stroke that, waited for it, controlled shot.
It came together with a score on 111. Now that edge is going to be worth 4. And it's also 50 for Andy Waller, his maiden test match at the age of 37. Unlucky in the first innings, but he's made the most of his second chance. This has been a very fine innings indeed, against some good spin bowling, top quality spin bowling for the most part, and this is a well-deserved 50.
Benefiting from the lack of a third man as well. Much prefer to see Darren Gough have a fielder down there, but all credit to Andy Waller. It's been a good performance.
He'll have a drink, that's for sure. Could be out, it is. Darren Gough does the damage. That is the breakthrough that England have been looking for the last hour and a half. And Andy Waller's vigil is over. It's been a good innings. He'll be very disappointed at that, though. Dug in short.
Yeah, I said it wanted Darren Gough to rough them up a bit. Good bounce of that at throat height. Waller couldn't get out of the way, couldn't keep it down. Good dismissal for England, good bowling by Gough. Waller's gone for 50, 178 for 7 now, Zimbabwe.
Well here, Darren Gough, to get the ball up quite so high. Just the one slip in there. Doesn't matter how you catch them.
Really is nice to see him back fit and back in an England colours.
Full toss, that'll beat Tufnell at mid-on. Strang off the mark, he's on 2, but more significantly the Zimbabwe lead has extended to 150. Visiting team. Big shout of catch it. Was that a chance?
Well, the reaction, I think, indicates there possibly was. Yes, I think that might be pad bat.
Shorter run from Tufnell, another appeal. Not out, says umpire Dunn. Guy Whittle's bat's under his arm. He's halfway to the pavilion already. And that is lunch on the 5th and final day of this inaugural test match between Zimbabwe and England.
Between mind all the talk of England dominance, we get those runs that Houghton spoke about, and we too can force this issue. We've got a slight delay, 1 or 2 problems with the sight screens.
And waiting, but he's got them now. Alan Mullally with the new ball to Paul Strang, and that's pushed nicely down the ground. A little bit of a loosener for Alan Mullally, a little limb loosener for Robert Croft, who gives chase, and 3 runs to Paul Strang. A really good crystal ball to know what's going to happen with each individual ball. That's flicked away down the leg side. Chase for Chris Silverwood. Good diving stop. Nice throw as well, just to complete that work. Well, 3 runs bring up the 200 for Zimbabwe. That seemed a forlorn hope at the start of play, but their powers of positive thinking and some good batting has got them up there. Lead of 170 now. There were 1 or 2 shouts down there suggesting this might have been called for. Very close run thing, and actually probably quite a good shout too. Now the third umpire obviously disagrees because he's been consulted. He's seen the same replay, and his decision is...
Catch it! Catch it! Yay!
Well, Tufnell and Knights will be alone in their celebrations. There's no support from any other of the fielders. Times like that, you feel a bit lonely out there.
Very unusual piece of cricket, this. Hello there.
Well, it's not far away from that inside edge. That's Paul Strang playing across the spin of the ball. It was almost as though Tufnell and... Now they're asking again. It's the same response, this time from the other umpire. Well, there's disappointment written all over the faces of the England fielders and Robert Croft.
Well, he's tossed that one up, and really, it didn't look like it came anywhere near the bat. It might have come off the bat, or maybe the glove after it hit the pad first. Yes, David, I think I agree with you. The ball passes the bat there, hits the pad, bounces up off the glove. Very difficult for the umpire to give that out, but it was.
Now, we've got the benefit, of course, yet again, of slow-motion replays. We've got that angle from side on.
Thank you, David. Becoming desperately important now for England to get these wickets. And, well, every ball, really, that cannons into the short leg area, the silly point area, is met with either full vocal support in terms of an appeal or, in this case, a little bit more half-hearted. But and that's out. That's the breakthrough. John Crawley takes the catch. Robert Croft gets the wicket. And the England fielders are mighty relieved. At last, something is going their way. Zimbabwe's 8th wicket down for 209.
Well, not much doubting this one. And I think the England boys relieved as much as anything. We felt they've deserved that. Paul Strang's gone for 19, and now Zimbabwe 209 for 8.
Batsman either, their premier opening bowler. This is the fall of Paul Strang. Blatantly punched onto pad and into the hands of John Crawley. And Strang was on his way before the umpire's finger went up. Pulled away. It's going to go for 4 through mid-wicket.
Guy Whittle throughout this innings has been looking for anything dropped a little bit short from the spinners. That's not that short.
Just the 2 catches you can see there, the slip and the silly point. It's paddled away. He's going to look for 2, and he's coming back for 2. That is Whittle's 50. Good performance by Guy Whittle. It's his 4th 50 or more in Test matches, and he is thoroughly delighted. And again, and edged, and the slip would have snaffled out. Instead, it's running away. Not quite for 4, but 3 to Whittle. I suppose that's the thing, Ian. If that's the way he's going to bowl, he's got to address the problems with his field.
Well, it's very clever bowling because he's just tempted him a little bit wider each time. And he's got Guy Whittle going at it, and that would have been a very comfortable catch. Came out and played very, very positively. Andy Waller, followed by Guy Whittle. And this will be frustrating now for Phil Tufnell. And that brings up the 200 lead now for Zimbabwe.
Very good catch there from Robert Croft. And the end of a very fine innings from Guy Whittle. The 9th down. They're 203 runs ahead.
That was the value of giving the ball just a touch more air. We saw first thing this morning, Tufnell gave it air. Then he flattened things out when Waller got after him. He's been aware that Whittle's keen to get after him, and he just got that above eye level. That excited Whittle, and he went to play his stroke. It's 233 for 9.
Probably a minimum of 37 for England. There's a big nick, and he's gone. Eventually, the last wicket falls. Henry Alonga, the last. Zimbabwe out for 234. A pair for Henry Alonga. And England will need 205 runs for victory.
Silver rewarded there by keeping the right sort of line, but most of all by pitching the ball up. Committing Alonga forward to the shot. Welcome back to the Queen's Club in Bulawayo, where we are in the middle of the quite a day of Test match cricket, and in its way quite an unusual one. We've seen 127 runs from the Zimbabweans today, and they've all been with positive intent. We've seen 5 taken by the England bowlers. Chris Silverwood finishing off the innings in his first bowl of the day, and overs of enthralling cricket with Andy Waller there 50 and Guy Whittle 56. Reasonably the heroes for Zimbabwe. Heroes for England, well, Philip Tufnell has made a lovely return to the Test match arena. 31 overs, 4 for 61. I don't think he's quite at his best yet, but it's good to see him back with the ball in his hand, and confidence will come from that performance. Robert Croft, 33 overs, 2 for 62. 5 wickets, so good as his control and been. Wickets there for Gough, Mullally, and in the end for Chris Silverwood. Let's show you Atherton and Knight are England's opening batsmen, so no change in the order. There was talk of whether or not Alex Stewart might come out here first, but he's down on the card to come in at number 3. There's the rate, 5.54. In the commentary box are Mike Proctor and Paul Allett.
Indications are that Zimbabwe, right from the word go, Zimbabwe feel under pressure. So, Streak with the first ball of England's second innings. Seats. It's a good single. Very good running. Guy Whittle at mid-wicket. Good scampering by Knight and good response from the captain Atherton. Swatted away by Knight. Brilliant stroke. Came down the track. Heath, Streak responded with a bouncer, and it was swatted contemptuously away for 4 by Nick Knight.
Well, this is an incredible shot. Knight running down the wicket. Streak sees him coming. He whacks it in short, and well, that's 15 love.
Short and wide. Dropped at deep gully. Grant Flower has put down the England captain.
Well, spoken about the brilliant Zimbabwean fielding. He has a very up chance to Grant Flower. He's fairly deep in the gully. Straight in and straight out.
Could be a little piece of luck. Anything. And that will be a wide. One day rules or no. Henry Alonga banged that in at his toe and ballooned it over Nick Knight. That should also be his allocation of 2 short balls in the over. Down the wicket and smeared back past Alonga. I don't think he's timed it quite as he would have wanted, but he's got 4 for it, Nick Knight. And another productive over for England. Some serious miscalculations done either by the umpire or our scorers, but we've still only had 2 overs.
Nick Knight charging down the wicket, very effective. He didn't time it perfectly, but he got enough bat on it to run away on this fast outfield for 4.
Crowd intently viewing this last session and a half. Nail-biting stuff. Oh, Bolt dragged it on from outside off stump. Huge roar around this ground, and Alonga is delighted. Had Atherton dropped in the last over and has got his revenge in this, the 4th of the innings.
Michael Atherton dragging that ball onto his stumps, the crowd roar, and that is the way for Zimbabwe to stop England scoring at any great pace. England 17 for 1.
Well done, Henry Alonga. Trifle unfortunate, Michael Atherton. He's dragged it on from way wide of off stump, looking to be positive. But good luck to Alex Stewart. Gone for 4, 17 for 1 England. To go for that, he's been looking to be positive all innings. And that is a very unlucky and unfortunate way to go for the England captain. What a fine smite that is. There was a feint to charge, and stayed in his ground. Alonga bowled the slower ball in response and got clubbed away over mid-on for 4.
Alex Stewart picking this up very, very quickly. The slow ball from Alonga. Alex Stewart had it sussed out. Full face of the bat. Lovely shot.
Pulled away by Stewart. It's between the 2 men out on the leg side boundary. Ian Robinson waits and then signals 6. An explosive start from Alex Stewart.
Well, there's a fielder at backward square leg on the fence. Alex Stewart timing that beautifully, finding the gap, and that's the maximum.
This will be the last ball before the tea interval. And no wide given for that. Particularly negative delivery. But a very positive start by England. 36 for...
Problem for England if Strang is on song. In the commentary box to tell you what they thought of that shout are Ian Botham and David Gower.
Thanks, Mark. Well worth it. Tossed up there. Maybe just missing leg stump. It's got to come back.
So it's probably a very good move.
Over the top. This might just skate away for 4. Yes, it does. And with that boundary, Alex Stewart now has notched up 4,000 test runs. He's the 21st Englishman to do that.
Although width swinging away, and Alex Stewart won't mind that. Comes free and hits it over extra cover. Not out of the middle of the bat, but certainly enough bats to reach the boundary. Takes him now to
boundary anyway. The 50 comes up for England. And that's the end of the 8th over. 50 for 1. Bryans at long leg, Paul at square leg. Nick Knight's coming through. He's going to beat his streak. Now, this is an interesting ploy. Well, now, this is very novel. You're allowed to run down the middle of the wicket and try and get yourself between the ball and the stumps. But to actually make conscious effort to kick the ball away is a different matter.
I think he was objecting to getting... Well...
Now, there are two issues here. One was Alex Stewart and Heath Street colliding. If Alex Stewart had actually got something on that ball, he definitely tried to kick it, then I think he would have been very much up for being given out obstructing the field. Straight down the grounds, 6 runs, beautifully struck. Alex Stewart taking it on. There was a man out there, Brian Strang, at long off. He had to clear him, and he did. Alex Stewart's second 6 of the innings.
Very quick on his feet and hitting it with the spin and hitting it very well.
At that pace, England will win the match.
It's going to run away very quickly down here. The chase is on for Houghton, but he has no chance. There's so much action on the ball from Paul Strang. Spin and bounce at the tiniest deflection. And the top spin has hurried it away to the fence.
Well, yes, it's a quandary, because if he's going to bowl leg stump, leg side, with those 3 men saving 1, he could be fractionally out in his line, as he was then. With men saving 1 on the offside at cover, backward point, and at extra cover.
Lovely stroke and a lovely bit of fielding. You couldn't praise them highly enough. We saw it in the one-day game last Sunday. We've seen it all Test match, and we're still seeing...
Good shot. Look at this ball as it pitches. Puff of dust out of the footholes. Always a sign that the ball may do something slightly odd, but Stewart was right on top of it, roll the wrists, and got it away for 4, despite the despairing dive from Strang.
.50 for Alex Stewart, 100 for England. The 29th time that he's done it in Test match cricket for his country, during an innings in which he has passed 4,000 runs for his country.
Marvellous effort by Alex Stewart. 50 at quicker than a runner ball, 2 sixes to win 4.
Good strike from Stewart, and will beat the diving Whittle, and that's disappointing for Paul Strang, because it had been an excellent over up until then, and almost, I think, expecting Stewart to come at him. He dropped short, and Stewart was waiting.
Good shot from Stewart. Picked his gap, had time to pick his gap between those 2 men out on the leg side boundary. Well controlled.
.70 from 13 overs since the tea break. That is a good effort. Oh, that's a good effort, diving. No interest, I don't think, from umpire Robinson. And the boot's on the other foot here.
Well, must have been 2 noises here. I think that may just have hit pad flap. The umpire, Ian Robinson.
He's got some bat on that. That single down to Grant Flower will bring up the 100 partnership between Alex Stewart and Nick Knight. Come up in 112 balls. Just 2 off the over from Strang. This is putting the pressure on England. There are 15 overs remaining, so now umpire Steve Dunn will allow the drinks to come on to the field. It's running away down towards the rope. And will be 4. Leg byes is the signal from Steve Dunn. England won't mind how they come. This isn't an exercise in batsmen improving their averages. England looking for a test match victory.
Always difficult in these circumstances for the wicket-keeper. But Stewart, that ball just hitting Alex Stewart's pad.
England requiring 73 to win. There are 12 overs now remaining. Here's Paul Strang. That's chipped over the infield. And that single brings up a 50 for Nick Knight. Nick Knight's 5th score of 50 or more in Test match cricket. It's been a hard slog since the opening for Knight, trying to manoeuvre these spinners around, the ball outside his leg stump into the bowler's rough, but he's stuck in there and made a half-century.
Now, we've not had a boundary off the bat for about 9 overs now. Nick Knight still desperately trying to find the middle of the bat and a gap in the field. That's a good shot. That is the first boundary in, give or take, 9 or 10 overs. And this time Nick Knight gets himself into a good position. The ball was just a fraction too short.
Talking about the way Alex Stewart uses his feet, that was exemplary from Nick Knight. Very quick on them, giving himself room. The ball wasn't that short, but he got outside the line and cut it away.
The 150 is up for England. 55 left to go. Now those 50s this innings, it took 50 balls for the first 50, 56 for the second, and 67 for this third 50, the slowest of the game. You've got to be consistent. Now that could well be wide, because it was so wide. It was just that simple. There comes a point where Ian Robinson has to decide whether or not the batsman can legitimately. This time, wide is called. Required. That's runs per over. That's high in the air. Now, this should be a very comfortable catch, and is. Alistair Campbell takes it. That's the end of Alex Stewart as he tried to force the pace yet again. But it's the end of a very fine innings indeed. The circumstances required good footwork, good timing, good placement, good shots, and we've seen all of those from Alex Stewart.
It's well bowled again by Strang, and Stewart attempting to lift it over square leg, just gets a looping top edge to Campbell. He's gone for 73. Super knock, 154 for 2 England. And Nasser Hussain is at the crease because Alex Stewart has got a huge top edge, attempting to pull that ball away from Paul Strang. He's got it into the hands of Alistair Campbell. Fine innings from Alex Stewart, 73 in almost even time, 76 balls.
It's a new position for England at number 4. That's out. Well, he tried to make room for himself. Had to go an awful long way outside leg stump to try and get it through that offside field. There were plenty of gaps there. And yet he's hit the ball straight to Stuart Carlisle.
He did everything right, really. Nasser Hussain, nobody out on the offside boundary, but he picked out Carlisle at extra cover. Unfortunate for Nasser Hussain. Goes without scoring, only faced 2 balls. 156 for 3.
2 wickets in the over then for Paul Strang. Situation changing just a wee bit now for England. They've got to remember just to get bat on ball, keep the 1s and 2s going. This is the first of the wickets in the over. Alex Stewart hitting that high. And Alistair Campbell judging the catch nicely. Not even the hint of a bobble there. 73 very fine runs from Alex Stewart. And then Nasser Hussain, well, second ball basically is faced. Anticipating the turn, laying back on the shot. And look at all that space either side of Stuart Carlisle. So a century maker in the first innings, a duck in the second. Not the first time that's happened either. Having done that, I suppose there was no way he was going to give him a chance or give Australia a chance of winning it. That's a long way in the air, and it split the fielders. That's 4 very handy runs.
Well, it's chance your arm time now for England's batsmen. They really have to throw caution to the wind, and Nick Knight has gone for the legitimate sweep. He's got under it. There are 2 men out there. Open right up with Strang bowling round the wicket.
That's going to work very well for England. Now he's got the bat on that, which would have further complicated it for Andy Flower, the keeper. That is a keeper's nightmare. The bat flailing around in front of your face. Possibility of a top edge. There obviously has been some sort of edge here.
See the grip changing and really trying to heave the ball round.
Straight to Alistair Campbell. Now, what's happened there? Well, this is potentially very unlucky for Nick Knight. He had to set off late. Alistair Campbell was the man who was maybe a yard or 2 deep. But Steve Dunn has called for the 3rd umpire.
Well, Crawley called and set off. Knight was a little bit slow, and the throw was going nowhere near the stumps, but it ricochets off Knight's right knee, and he's well in. So, I suppose justice there for the England batsman would have been highly...
I wonder what the captain's thinking. It's oh so near to be denied now. I took it on, bit of coaching, bit of motivation, a few signs to write up, stick on the dressing room wall, a few tapes to record. It never told me it'd be like this. High in the air and gone.
Stuart Carlisle takes the catch out at deep point. At last he makes a contribution to this match. Crawley the man out.
A little unlucky. Just a little bit off the bottom of the bat, but hit pretty well. Would probably just about have gone all the way, or just inside the rope, but well watched and well caught. John Crawley's now gone for 7. And it's 178 for 4.
Perishes after his first innings century for just 7. England players quite happy to sacrifice themselves. How many more twists in the tail will there be? Another couple of wickets and Zimbabwe will have hopes of victory.
pretty well hit. Probably feel a little unlucky to find that one man out there in that boundary, but he took it very well, judged it, never easy. The century maker of the first innings, John Crawley's gone. First innings, John Crawley's gone.
Guy Whittle. Just 14 runs conceded by Heathstreak in his 3 overs since coming back. He's off a short run to Graham Thorpe. Up in the air, and Thorpe's gone now. Zimbabwe fighting their way back into the match, not only to save it, but possibly to win it, as England try for these 205 runs. Thorpe's gone for 2, it's 182 for 5.
Just a puff of dust there as Graham Thorpe looks to whip it on the leg side. Gets a leading edge, and one of the 2 men who've stayed in, saving one, is Alistair Campbell. And Graham Thorpe has now gone for 2. England 182 for 5. You'll enjoy the situation, but there'll be a few nerves.
Brilliant bowling, quite brilliant. Just 2 off the over, and it's Darren Gough who will be on strike. England need 21 from 2 overs. Whittle to Gough. Well bowled. Whittle has a shot at the stumps. That wasn't too bright. Gough's back for 2.
Good.
Knight's gone for the bye. The umpire says not out, so it must be a bye that's signalled. Whittle convinced that Darren Gough got an inside edge on that. Umpire Dunn says no, a single results.
It's very well bowled again, following Darren Gough. I think that's probably near his back leg, hitting the ground, but the ground with all sorts there. Nick Knight, very alert, seeing a chance of an opportunity down the leg side.
Apart from bowler and wicket-keeper. The bowler will do the fielding. It's just 1 leg by. He's warned him. He's at liberty to run him out. Gough's got something on it. Can they get back for 2? I don't think so. Heathstreak with a nice low flat throw.
Pattern, they've got it right up there.
There's a gap down there. Has Knight found it? Carlisle again, the fielder. 2 off that ball. They need 2 every ball.
Considerably.
Full toss. Knight can't get it away. Beyond a longer at long on. There's just a single. At least Nick Knight has the strike. And England will need 13 from the last over.
Anything could happen.
Streak to Knight. Down the leg side. Perfectly legitimate today.
And the game was probably still in England's favour. These 2 have dragged it back and bowled very well.
Knight's got it out to long off. Darren Gough prepared to sacrifice his wicket, but he's got back for 2. Flower, the fielder, making sure there'd be no overthrow, allowed England back for 2. That's what Knight's looking for. He's chipped it over his head for 6. Unbelievable. Nick Knight's got his streak away over mid-wicket for 6 runs. Now England are back in it. England now need 5 runs to win off 3 balls. The England supporters are going crazy.
Now that gives the Zimbabwean captain, Alistair Campbell, something to think about. 5 or 3 balls. Does he leave everyone on the boundary, or does he bring someone in?
Nick Knight, the hero of the hour now. That 6 runs has made all the difference. Have a look at this.
If you keep firing it in the same area, the batsman will eventually be able to adjust, and that's what's happened here. And Nick Knight, 92 not out now. 1, 6, 5 fours. And that has changed everything.
A lot of critics of one-day cricket, but that shot would never have been played in a test match 15 years ago. Here's streak tonight. England require 5. That's wide outside the off stump. No signal from umpire Ian Robinson. England now requiring 5 off 2. How does he streak field? He's got it right that time.
Well,
Knight looking for another hit on the leg side. He's bowled it well wide of off stump.
well, the England bowlers won't be too happy with this, because Alan Mullally and Darren Gough got wided for balls not as wide as that in this test match.
Full toss. Knight can only get it away for 1. Gough will definitely come back for the second run. He's made it with a dive. Streak can't take the ball cleanly. England scramble 2, but they 3 to win off the last ball. We've seen one-day finishes all over the world. We've never seen a test match finish like this. Now, the batsmen are in conference. The big 3 for Zimbabwe in conference. Campbell has told the bowler what to do. He goes out onto the boundary edge. Andy Flower wishes his streak good luck. Nick Knight takes a few deep breaths. It's all on the Warwickshireman's shoulders here. England need 3 runs to win off the very last ball to win this test match. Can Nick Knight conjure up another boundary? One feel it has to be a boundary now for England to win this match. Here comes Streak. Knight's down the track, he's got it out to deep cover, there's a man there. This too will bring the scores level. Andy Flower's got it. Darren Gough vainly goes for the 3rd runs. The scores are level, but the match is drawn. England finished tantalisingly 1 run short. They've levelled the scores with Zimbabwe. They couldn't get the final run. Nick Knight just getting 2 off the last ball and finishes on 96 not out. What a test match day we've seen here in Bulawayo. Nick Knight can't believe it. He's done all that hard work. England finish just 1 run short. Great work by Nick Knight and the rest of the England team. Controversial tactics from Zimbabwe as they fire the ball wide either side of the wickets. But I'm sure England would have done the same thing in their situation. This is test match cricket, remember. Zimbabwe have fought all the way and out of the fire have salvaged a draw. The crowd stand for Nick Knight and the England team. Alex Stewart, another hero of the hour. England just failed to make it.
History of this fantastic game has finished as a draw. Would you believe it? For the first time ever in test match cricket, scores are level and the match is drawn. It's not tied. The side that bats last has to be completely bowled out for a tie. This is a draw. England have not won this test match by just 1 solitary run. It really has been a remarkable afternoon. It's been a wonderful 2 days of cricket, full stop, in fact, and everybody here is completely breathless. There the scenes sort of around the dressing room area there. He's talking to Zimbabwe captain Alistair Campbell.
Thank you very much indeed, Mark. Alistair, what a terrific game of cricket.
Yes, it was indeed. You know, a bit nerve-wracking towards the end, so we are glad to get a draw out of it in the end.
You look quite drained, actually.
Yeah, it was all to and fro out there, you know, where to bowl at what fields to set, so like I said, glad to get a draw in the end.
Congratulations too to England, who came back from a very tricky beginning and gave us a wonderful, wonderful all-round team performance. For now, it's goodbye from Bulawayo.